At that moment, no one knew that the man ringing Jason Statham's doorbell was his brother, who had been missing for 40 years. It was an ordinary Saturday at his home in London, and Jason was training in the garden, his usual routine. But when the doorbell rang and he saw the face of the man standing outside, Jason Statham's heart began to beat out of control for the first time. Because that face was his own reflection, but 20 years older. And in his eyes there was a pain Jason had never seen, something he did not yet know. Jason opened the door to the man. He couldn't breathe. You who? The man smiled with tired eyes. Hello, Jason. I'm Thomas, your older brother. What? Jason stepped back. I don't have an older brother. I'm an only child. No, Thomas shook his head. You're just the child who grew up alone. When you were born, I was 8 years old, and then I left. This is nonsense. Jason wanted to close the door, but he couldn't, because that face, that man was familiar. His father's, his grandfather's, a family face. Give me 5 minutes, then I'll go, I promise. Jason hesitated. Every instinct said no, but his curiosity overpowered all his instincts. Okay, come in. This is exactly where everything changed. The two men sat facing each other in the living room. Thomas took an envelope out of his old, worn bag. Inside were old photographs, black and white, from the 1980s. Look, this is our family. Thomas handed over the photos. Look, this is our mother. This is our father. And this little baby is you. And this, he placed his finger on another child. This is me. Jason looked at the photo. He really was there, a small child, about 7 to 8 years old, with his family. But Jason had never seen or heard of this child before. These are Photoshop, Jason spoke coldly. Could be, Thomas agreed, but they aren't, because we have birth certificates. Both of us have the surname Statham. We are both children of the same parents. The second envelope contained official documents. Birth record, Thomas James Statham. Date of birth, 1968. Parents, Eileen and Barry Statham. Jason's parents. But this is impossible. Jason stood up. My mother and father never mentioned you. I know, Thomas was sad, because I was the child to be forgotten, unwanted, troubled. What does that mean? Thomas took a deep breath. Jason, when I was 8, I did something terrible, and my family sent me away, far away, and they decided never to mention you. What did you do? Thomas fell silent, his eyes filled with tears. I can't tell. It's too shameful. But the result was that I was lost, erased from the family, as if I never existed. Jason sat down. His head was spinning. Why did you come now? Because, Thomas trembled, because I'm dying. Lung cancer, final stage. The doctors said 3 months, and before I die, I wanted to see you, my brother. But the most shocking thing was that Jason was starting to believe him. Jason didn't sleep at all that night. He had settled Thomas in a hotel room, but his mind wouldn't stop thinking about Thomas. The next morning, Jason called his mother. Mom, I need to ask you something. Of course, dear. What is it? Did I have an older brother? There was a long silence on the phone. Mom? Who told you this? His mother's voice was trembling. That's not important. Is it true? Silence again, then a deep breath. Yes, it's true. Jason was stunned. Then why did you never tell me? Because, his mother started crying. Because Thomas is a painful memory, Jason. That child was troubled, and when you were born, your father and I decided a clean slate, a normal life for you, without Thomas. But he's my brother. No, his mother hardened. He is not your brother. He is a stranger, a dangerous stranger. Jason, don't go near him, please. What does that mean, Mom? His mother couldn't answer. She just cried. Don't trust him, Jason. He hasn't changed. He's still the same. The line went dead. Jason couldn't make sense of what was happening. His mother was truly afraid. But why? Jason met Thomas again. I talked to my mother. What you said was true, but my mother is afraid of you. Why? Thomas lowered his head. Because when I was 8, I started a fire in the house. I did it on purpose. I was angry. I wanted attention, but I couldn't control it. The house burned. Almost the whole family died. We were saved, but my father never forgave me. Jason stepped back. You are an arsonist? I'm not, Thomas cried. I was just a child, a sick child. I had psychological problems, but now I'm fine. I got treatment. I had therapy for years. I changed, Jason. But my mother is still afraid. I know, and she has the right to, because I caused my family great pain. I just want to be forgiven before I die. Please, Jason, you are my only brother. Jason looked at Thomas. He saw sincerity in his eyes, or he was a very good liar. Then prove it. How? Spend time with me. Let me get to know you. Show me I can trust you. Thomas smiled. Thank you for giving me a chance. The following days were strange. Jason and Thomas spent time together. Meals, walks, conversations. Thomas seemed sincere. He talked about his past, his childhood, his loneliness. I was alone for 40 years. I had no family. I had friends, but they weren't real. Only you are real, Jason. Jason softened. Maybe Thomas had changed. Maybe he deserved a second chance. But then strange things started happening. Wait a minute. Don't miss this detail. One day when Jason came home, his door was open. He went inside. He called out to Thomas. There was no answer, but there were footsteps upstairs. Jason immediately went up. The bedroom door was ajar. Thomas was inside. He was rummaging in Jason's wardrobe, his clothes, belongings, personal documents. Jason asked in a harsh tone, "What are you doing?" Thomas turned around. He didn't look surprised. "Ah, Jason, you finally came. I'm just trying to get to know you better." "By going through my wardrobe?" "I'm sorry." Thomas raised his hands. "It won't happen again." But Jason was disturbed because there was something in Thomas's eyes, something calculating. That night, Jason checked his wardrobe. Some things were missing: important documents, bank information, a copy of his passport. Jason went downstairs. "Thomas, where are my documents?" "What documents?" Thomas was watching TV. "My personal documents. You took them." "I didn't." Thomas turned. "Why would I take them?" "I don't know, but they're missing, and you are the only suspect." Thomas stood up. "Are you accusing me?" "Yes." Thomas looked hurt. "I'm your brother. I wouldn't steal from you." "But you did." "I didn't," Thomas shouted. Then he calmed down. "Look, I'm a sick man. I'm dying. I have no reason to steal your documents." Jason hesitated. Maybe he was becoming paranoid. Maybe the documents were somewhere else. "Okay," Jason backed off. "But if something like this happens again, it won't, I promise." But the next day, Jason checked his bank account. £50,000 were missing, transferred to an unknown account. Jason froze. He ran to find Thomas, but Thomas wasn't home. His room was empty. There was only a note. "I'm sorry, Jason, but I'm really sick, and treatment is very expensive. Your money will save me. I hope you understand. I'll pay it back one day. Thomas." Jason tore up the note. He had been deceived. Thomas was a con artist, and Jason had believed him like an idiot. You won't believe it, but Jason Statham didn't call the police that day because he was ashamed. A world-famous action star had been scammed by his own brother. Days passed. Jason told no one. His mother must not know. No one must know. But a week later, the doorbell rang. Jason opened the door. Thomas was there, but this time different, weaker, pale. He really looked sick. Thomas whispered, "Jason, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Get out of here." Jason tried to close the door. "Please, listen to me." Thomas was crying.
I really am sick, but I had no money for treatment, and you were my only hope. You scammed me. I know, and I was wrong, but Jason, I'm your brother, your real brother. We can do a DNA test. Our blood bond is real." "A blood bond doesn't bring trust." "You're right." Thomas collapsed to the ground. "But I'm dying, and you're my last chance. I'll give the money back, every penny. But first, I have to live." Jason looked at Thomas. He really looked sick. Maybe he wasn't lying. "How much is the treatment?" £150,000, a private clinic in America. There's hope, but it's very expensive." Jason thought. "I have £50,000, the money you stole. I know, but it's not enough. Please, Jason, you're my only family." Jason closed the door. He left Thomas outside because he had no trust left. Blood was not enough. But that night Jason couldn't sleep because Thomas's face was in his mind. That pain, that loneliness. What you've seen so far is nothing. The next day, Jason did research. Thomas James Statham. Was he real? He found it. Hospital records. Thomas really was a cancer patient. Final stage. Treatment was possible in America, but very expensive. Jason also found old records. Thomas's past. The fire when he was 8. Then child psychiatry. Then an orphanage. Then life on the streets. Crimes. Prison. Loneliness. Thomas's life had been hell, and Jason had lived a normal life, family, career, success. 2 brothers, 2 different fates. Jason picked up the phone and looked at his bank account. There was £500,000. He could give $150,000, but should he? Jason talked to his mother. "Mom, Thomas is really sick. He's dying." "I know." His mother was cold. "But that's not your problem." "He's my brother." "No, he's a stranger. We lost him years ago, Jason. You owe him nothing." "But No." His mother spoke harshly. "Jason, that man scammed you once. He'll do it again. Believe me, Thomas doesn't change. He never did." "But what if he really is dying?" "Then let him die." "Do I sound cruel?" "Maybe, but Thomas created his own fate. You can't save him." Jason hung up. Maybe his mother was right, but Jason's conscience was restless. He thought for 3 days, then he decided. Jason found Thomas. He was lying in a small hospital in the bad part of London. His room was small, dirty, and hopeless. "Jason?" Thomas was surprised. "You came?" "I came." Jason sat down. "And I'm going to tell you something." "I'm listening." "I will help you. I will pay for the treatment. £150,000. "Jason," cried Thomas, "really?" "Yes, but on one condition." "What is it?" "If you recover, you will fix your life. You will stop scamming. You will live honestly, and you will never use me or anyone else again." Thomas nodded. "I promise. I swear." "Second condition. If you recover, you will leave my life. We can be brothers, but from a distance, because I can no longer trust you, Thomas. Maybe one day I will, but not now." Thomas understood. "I accept. You are giving me life, Jason. I am grateful for this." Jason transferred the money. Thomas went to America. Treatment began. 6 months passed. Thomas recovered. The cancer went into remission. He had a chance to survive. Jason received a letter. "Dear Jason, I'm alive. I'm alive thanks to you. The treatment was successful. The doctors were surprised, but I wasn't, because I had a brother, a real brother. I'm keeping my promise. I fixed my life. I now do honest work, small but honest, and I will not bother you again. But I want you to know you are my hero. I never really knew our family, but I knew you, and that is enough. Thank you, Jason. You are always in my heart. Your brother, Thomas." Jason read the letter, and for the first time he found peace, because he had given Thomas a chance, a second chance, and Thomas had used it in a good way. Maybe blood did not bring trust, but second chances brought hope. 2 years passed. Jason and Thomas talked from time to time, phone, email, but they didn't meet because distance was necessary. One day, Jason found a package in his mailbox. Inside was a check, £50,000, and a note. First installment. The debt is being paid. Slowly, but it's being paid. Thomas. Jason smiled. Thomas had really changed. That day, Jason called his mother. "Mom, Thomas recovered, and he changed." "Are you sure?" His mother was still suspect. "Yes, people can change." "I hope you're right, Jason, but I'm still afraid." "I know, and you have the right to be, but I gave Thomas a chance, and he deserved it." Her mother cried quietly. "Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we shouldn't have abandoned Thomas so early. We can't change the past, Mom, but we can fix the future." "You're right. Maybe one day I'll forgive Thomas too. I hope so." Years passed. Thomas fully recovered. He started a small business, lived honestly, and sent Jason a gift every year. Small gifts, but meaningful. And Jason felt that his family was complete, because Thomas was no longer just a stranger. He was a real brother, distant but real. One day, Jason's doorbell rang. Thomas was there, but this time, healthy, happy, changed. "Hello, Jason. I just wanted to say thank you, face to face." Jason smiled. "Come in, my brother." The two men hugged, for the first time, after 40 years. And Jason understood. Family is not just a blood bond. It is forgiving and giving a chance.